What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, check this out. What should be obvious to everyone by now is what has been obvious to many of us for years. Disney is in deep trouble, and there's no easy way out. They need answers, and they need them now. Box office all year long has been a complete disaster. Streaming has lost billions and billions, and they have practically destroyed two of their biggest franchises with Star Wars and Marvel. Creativity has completely left the company. Remaking old Disney classics and ruining them seems to be on the menu every single year. As the theme parks get emptier and emptier, and the competition in the marketplace gets hotter and hotter, Nintendo and Universal are on Disney's head right now. Not just with the content, but with Epic Universe Orlando waiting in the wings. So how did Disney get here? All you have to do is watch one of the many channels on YouTube that have been dedicated to recording this information for the past 5 to 6 years since everything in entertainment started tumbling down. And now that South Park has completed its total evisceration of woke Hollywood with Disney in its crosshairs, it seems like the walls may finally be closing in on the mouse. Even Gina Carano stomped a mud hole in Disney and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy. But a lot of folks seem to think everyone's picking on Disney. Why does South Park pick on Disney, Bob Iger, and Kathleen Kennedy? They could have gone after any number of Hollywood C-suite executives that all joined on the woke train. So why her and why Disney? It's pretty obvious as to why Disney. Disney is the king. They currently sit on the throne. They are the granddaddy of them all. And where they go, generally speaking, Hollywood follows. They have all the biggest franchises. They have all the biggest names. A Disney film is almost guaranteed to make money in the box office. At least that's what it used to be. Having Kathleen Kennedy as the avatar for all the problems in woke Hollywood obviously makes sense. It was her decision to take Star Wars, the greatest film franchise in the world, and pervert it for the purposes of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Star Wars is akin to Greek mythology for the 20th century. That's why it works. It's classic heroes versus classic villains in a classic good versus evil storyline. It uses tried and true methods of character building and story arc development combined with breathtaking special effects and a great cinematic score. It's literally impossible to screw up Star Wars unless you don't have a creative bone in your body and your focus is on messages, identity politics, and ideology, and not character and story. And that's exactly what Kathleen Kennedy did. Instead of telling classic heroic stories with great characters like her predecessor, she decided to stuff agenda down everyone's throats and eventually destroy the franchise. Again, this entire woke Hollywood mess seems to have begun in earnest about 6 years ago. And what film dropped in theaters 6 years ago in the winter of 2017? The Last Jedi. That movie really encapsulates everything wrong with Hollywood, with Disney, and with Lucasfilm, the former great studio who created two of the greatest franchises in Hollywood film history. Kennedy destroyed heroes in favor of the new The Force is Female agenda. And it didn't stop with Star Wars. It continued with Indiana Jones. Two franchises that have been utterly wrecked by one Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. And the failure of The Last Jedi and the outrage that followed, covered expertly by the Panderverse, was the beginning and the end for woke Disney. And after this, there's no turning back. There's no denying it any longer. All the shill medias and all the Disney slurping apologists, they got no choice but to admit it now. It is over. Disney is crumbling right before our eyes. It's been doing it for the last 6 years. The toxic fans were right. Your precious house of mouse is burning down. The roof is on fire. And all of the world is saying, we ain't got no water. Let the motherfucker burn. But we knew this moment would come, folks. We knew it. We knew that there would be a time where Disney had to start to make some corrections. We just didn't know where it would come from. So bless Matt and Trey in South Park for giving Disney the absolute comeuppance they deserved in glorious fashion, absolute glorious fashion. We knew that Disney wasn't going to be able to keep digging its own grave forever. Disney is a publicly traded company. They have stockholders they have to answer to. When fewer and fewer people are showing up to your theme parks, when your box office results are in the tank, when you're doing severe brand damage to your biggest franchises, and now you're having to sell off assets that you've acquired, your stockholders are going to have something to say about that. So enter Nelson Peltz.
We're just trying to get these companies to operate better the way they used to. We wouldn't be there if they really were doing well. Clearly, they're not thrilled to see us. But what usually happens is that these stocks go up.
Activist investor who was already making moves earlier this year to get a seat on the board. He gave Bob Iger a chance to get Disney moving in the right direction, but it's clear now that Bob failed. Now he's looking for more than just a seat. He's looking for multiple seats. And who's he got with him? Ike Perlmutter, former head of Marvel, who says, in his own words, while I was a Disney employee, I was not comfortable publicly stating my views on the company and its performance. As someone with a large economic interest in Disney's success, I can no longer watch the business underachieve its great potential. I urge Disney's board to immediately welcome one or more Trian board candidates, including Trian CEO and founding partner Nelson Peltz, into the boardroom. Man, that's crazy. So, Perlmutter's been feeling his way for a while. Hey, Ike, next time, can you speak up? You might have helped us avoid all of this crap. But now the question is, will Nelson Peltz go ham on Iger and get him up out of there? Or at least make him bend the knee and submit to the will of the shareholders who just simply want Disney stock to rise and not watch all of their hard-earned money go up in smoke. But for many like myself, the bigger question has become what happens with Kathleen Kennedy and what happens with Lucasfilm. The rumors have been circulating for a while that Kathleen Kennedy is on the chopping block, that she's soon to be fired, that her career at Lucasfilm is done. Right now, Star Wars is in such disarray. There are multiple things that are needed to get it back on the right track. One film will not fix this. Not even one great film and one great series will fix this. And nothing that they currently have dreamed up in their terrible content pipeline will fix this. Star Wars needs an entire philosophical overhaul. And that starts at the top. That starts with new leadership at Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy needs to get her golden parachute for her years of service. Let her exit stage left. The powers that be need to go and sit down and speak to the creator, George Lucas. They need to find out what his ideas are for the franchise moving forward. George won't take it over, but he can absolutely give them the roadmap for where Star Wars needs to go. They need to get back to the roots of Star Wars. To be honest, they need to get back to the roots of Lucasfilm as a studio. Lucasfilm was always an independent studio. George Lucas hated the Hollywood studio system and film executives. He didn't trust them, and now we can see why. The spirit of independent creative filmmaking from a person with a singular vision is what spawned Star Wars, and that's what it needs now. Star Wars needs a similar person at the helm of Lucasfilm, a creative visionary, someone who understands and loves the original vision of George Lucas, who loves Star Wars and the lore, and who wants to build upon that. But as for Disney itself, the time is now. Peltz, Iger, Perlmutter, the mask is off. The emperor has no clothes. Everyone sees it. So who's going to right the ship? That all remains to be seen. But you folks, let me know what you think. What's your take on all of this? What's the next move for Disney, for Bob Iger, for Nelson Peltz, for Lucasfilm, all of that? You guys jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.